This is lesson 14A. And the subject is dealing with inexactitude of existing conditions and interpreting AutoCAD drawings or other base given information that is to be used as a template for a model. Some years ago, we started teaching SketchUp with a document produced by AIDC for a 2016 competition. It's actually a fairly good model. Let me see if I'm illustrating. I'm putting it together, a series of lessons for it, but I'm illustrating. Let's add some things to this default tray. Oh, it's all here. I just have to collapse it. So my layers, I'm just going to go to an isometric view. And turn on Faces X-ray. This is a fairly simple but effective model for explaining an interior structure that is not too complex. So there are an array of columns on the interior that are holding up a girder, and that girder is holding up some trusses that are finally holding up the roof. The CAD drawing itself, however, has significant imperfections in it that require you to interpret or apply what you understand about building construction. Realize my audience don't necessarily have a background in architecture, but you do learn something about construction in your careers. So in order to illustrate this, I'm going to turn off all the model layers and look at just what's in the AutoCAD underlay itself. So if I were to measure the plan and dimension from where I think, for example, this window array, 4-gang windows start, again, or this set of double doors. Okay, the windows measure 12 feet. It's divided into 4 units. Presumably, each of those has a nominal dimension of 3 feet. Similarly, we expect this set of double doors to be an assembly of 2 36-inch doors with a frame, and as measured here, this is telling us, going with that inference, this is telling us that we have 2 36-inch leaves between a 2-inch frame at either side. If I were to draw a line, however, from the edge where I believe the window begins and bring it down to my section drawing. I would find that it doesn't meet the window frame and if I were to measure, presumably again from where that frame begins to where that array of windows ends, I'm getting 11 and 3/8 and for the door frame it's more like 6. Well, actually, there's the slight problematic instance of a column appearing in elevation here, so it's occluding my view of the rest of this door frame, so I can't really see it. It's extending somewhere past this column. So the inference section, that column there, this part of, is occluding a view of that door frame. So the inference I'm going to make here is that I'm looking at a set of 4 windows that are 12 that together make 12 feet. So I need a 3-foot module, and that's the abstraction, if you will, that I need to make in order to finish modeling this space. So if I measure as well that set of windows in plan, they're nominally, I have 6 feet here, so it's reasonable for me to say this is a 2-gang array of what is grouped as 4 windows over there. I have other elements modeled here that are not on a layer, so I didn't turn off. That's why that's why I couldn't draw that dimension. I was snapping to this geometry. I didn't realize that. So what I've done first is define that opening. So let's talk about the decisions made here. First off, let's create a layer. I neglected to put these on a layer. I'm usually pretty good about doing that. So, and I'm going to call this layer openings. So I've modeled a 6x6 window and made that a component. Let me select it, and I'm calling it an opening. And I deliberately want to abstract that don't want to call it a window because I want to generalize this sort of condition that we're penetrating the building envelope. If I turn back on exterior walls, you can see that every instance of this geometry represents the outline of those openings. So in this case, it's a component called a 6x6 opening, which is a nested component, a group of nested components that if I double click this, well, let's do it here. I did not so I've triple clicked, and then I'm removing the face that forms the window, and I'm going to let's create that nested component now. So I'm making that a component and calling this one window frame, which is just an extrusion. Maybe I did. Yeah, let's replace it. Somehow that's not visible. Miscellaneous components, perhaps I put it on that layer.